Hello everybody, AOG Gaming here, back with another video on Dislyte. If you've been keeping up with the news, just in general of Dislyte, as far as content creators go, not updates and stuff, you would know that Daddy Free to Play got, I don't know, the Dislyte Games was mad at him. They made him apologize. They forced him. Um, so if you watch this video, you can obviously see he's not 100%, you know, I mean, I wouldn't either. They kind of screwed him over. But as you guys have seen with my videos, I talk a lot about that corporations just being scummy in general. This slide is not different. Live Games is not different. And also, once corporations make enough money, like this slide is right now, like I've said, just like Macarena, they get lazy and then all they do is release pay to get content because that's all the thing that's going to get them money, and so far it's been working. But when it becomes repetitive and it doesn't work, they don't understand why, which is kind of stupid. And mind me for saying this word retarded, because it really is. Companies need to get their heads out of their asses and realize that it's not just about making money, it's about consistently and making sure that you will make money for a very long time. That is how a game will stay alive. The only way to do that is if you make sure that the content is there for people to actually continue playing, because late game players won't stay there. And that's one of the problems with Dislyte. Yes, technically it's only been like what, a few years since Dislyte has been up, or almost 2 years, I think. I don't know when exactly it came out, but it's been a while, right? And they really haven't expanded in the concept of content for late game. So far, it's just early game, mid game, and then like early late game. Because like right now, I'm experiencing the same thing that free to play Daddy is experiencing, or Daddy free to play, Zoxus can, all of them. That everything that they're experiencing. Basically, I do the same thing. I blitz, I do club stuff real quick. Like it's the same stuff, and you're only on for like 25 minutes, maybe at most, and that's it. And really, the only thing that is different is when you release espers, because you have the events, so you're trying to grind other stuff. But then you do normal stuff to get that anyway, so you don't really do much else than what you already do. And really, it's just the trial, the story, which you can finish in like a day, and then that's it. Now they've had events where they've had like stuff like this where it really it's cool and nice for beginner players, but it's such little value over such a long time for late game players. It really doesn't add much. Like it's like barely anything. It is nice though, so don't take it away, but maybe increase, because it really doesn't do anything. Like we do all of this stuff normally, like all the like the way to get the currency for all of these events is basically just doing normal stuff, like blitzing Sonic, Rift, Ritual, Miracle, like just doing battles in those. So really, you do the same thing, and it's not fun. It really is not. Of course, they have the Esper Academy thing. I haven't done the last one because it's just really annoying. I know how to do it. I just don't feel like doing it. And then the rest of these are fine. They're pretty easy, and you get, well, like four records, right? One, two, three, four. Well, you get up to five, plus a ton of Nexus crystals and some gold. So, and some stamina. So it's pretty good. But yeah, for late game, there really isn't much. Celestial Anomaly was pretty much the like silver lining of the last update. But ever since the Celestial Anomaly ended, it really has not been great for me or any probably any late game player. I'm only level 86, but still. So yeah, and the problem also that people have with the game, which I also agree. So go watch the video, the latest video that Daddy Free to Play released, and also Zoxis-kun, because they are two of the biggest content creators, and their videos that they released, they're absolutely right. Like I don't know, is this the end of Dislyte, guys? It doesn't feel like the end, but it feels like it's getting to the point where there will be no return. Right now, it feels like the devs messed up, and the only way they can fix it is if they put all of their energy back into this game and at least try and give us better content. Like they're giving us better content for Hilda, so it's nice, but that's like one extra thing to do for the day. And then Shade Mother, like most people don't even have her unlocked because you need specific espers and resonances on those espers just to do um all the ritual miracles. No, sorry, not ritual miracles. The desolate land. So it's really annoying, um, because you don't get all this free stuff like tier and all that because you need specific espers, and the only way to get them is through the gotcha. The problem is through the gotcha, they release a new esper every single like what 2 or 3 weeks, and they release multiple sometimes. And what this does is it dilutes your chances of getting a specific esper. So now it becomes impossible to get anything specific, and it's all up to chance, which just makes the game not fun to play. You don't want to spend any money. You don't want to even use your gold records because everything you're going to get is going to be random and it's mostly going to be bad. That's just how the game works. Because their draws are 100% guaranteed on the 100th draw. You get a legendary Esper. That is the shittiest draw that I have ever seen on most games. Even a game that's basically completely pay to win. Well, it is pay to win. Um, the Idle Awakening game that I do videos on, that game has so much more free to play potential, and yet people who dominate that game are people who are paying, which makes sense because there is monetary value to it. But like go watch Zoxiskin. He makes a lot of good points on his most recent video. But it doesn't work long term, and specifically for late game players who spending that amount of money won't do anything to their account. Like the progress they will get will be so minuscule, it does nothing. So what's the counterpoint to that? Well, for free to play players, give them contents, and it'll also be helpful for people who are paying, like I don't know, however much money they want. Um, so yeah, I really hope this isn't the end. Because it feels like games are just dying left and right. So for like Mech Arena isn't completely dead, but it's basically dead. Like that's that's pretty much like the people who are trying to keep it alive and are saying like Mech Arena is great are all the asshole whales who are literally spending thousands or hundreds of dollars to keep the game alive. I don't give a shit about them. They're not the people who are actually going to be the biggest movers of the community. Those are people who are usually free to play. Yes, they can have a lot of money, but that's not the problem. The problem is the content. All people want to see is high gameplay content on that game, and the problem is that you have to spend thousands of dollars just to get it. So it's really just BS. And then also, it just sucks for free to play. This game is fine at the beginning, but the problem is that we've been seeing, and like free to play, Daddy Free to Play and Zoxis can have mentioned this multiple times in their videos. At least the last couple of videos that I've seen from both of them. Dislyte or Lilith games specifically, Farlight games, is seeming like they are spending more time trying to maximize AFK Journey, which is their other game, which I have also agreed, just like Zoxiskin and Daddy Free to Play, I'm not touching that game. I hate when corporations do this. It's just such a scummy, like disgusting tactic. It makes me honestly just like not want to even do any content related to them whatsoever. That's why I kind of stopped Mech Arena. I only do videos once in a while for that, just to see where the game is at and see if it's even still playable. Because like the company can be bad, but like if they at least try to fix the game so that it's somewhat better, then I guess it's better. But if they just don't try, then yeah, let the game die. Like who cares? If they're gonna be scummy, then just do the same thing to them. There's really only one way to fight them. Otherwise, you're just gonna keep giving them money, and they're gonna keep doing the same thing, and it's just gonna continue. Um, because it's a cycle right now. What happens is that one game dies, they make another game. Like not just Lilith Games, any company out there, they make another game. There's hundreds of Chinese companies who are doing this. They just buy some like really bad games. They try and make as much money, and then they either sell it off or they just let it die and then buy another one or make another one. And it's worse that like companies that have a good reputation as so far. They don't have the worst reputation. Like, yes, Dislyte Games is not one of the best companies out there, but compared to a lot of other companies out there, I'd say they've had some decent. Well, I'd say they've made a decent game. I'm not gonna say that they've really listened to us. It's been like, okay, we'll take that into account more than okay, we're listening to you. We'll do this. Um, other games it's been completely different where the developers do listen. So I don't understand why companies do this, but there is one reason they do it, and it's I don't know why they do it, but there is one specific reason why they will do it, and that's because they're making money off of people who don't understand the root cause of the problem is them. Whales. Whales need to just stop. Like literally stop ruining games for us in every sense that you guys do. I'm okay with people spending money and winning, but the problem is that the whales will continue and even after like people start quitting and they won't stop because they continue to like the game. And then it gets to the point where the game is dead because there's only like a couple hundred whales on the game, but it's still not enough to keep the company afloat because they're basically just pouring all of their paychecks at that point just to keep the company afloat. So yeah, it really it does not make for a good cycle when companies do that, and it's been happening a lot recently because it's the fastest way to make money right now in mobile gaming. It's the gotcha gaming because the industry has exploded since COVID, and it's just on a high rise right now. And the main problem is that companies are doing the same thing. They're making a game, they're putting all the resources into it. They have another game in the backups or in the works just so that they can transfer to that once that game dies because there's new games constantly coming out. So it really does suck. Um, yeah, and there's like great games that like Idle Heroes is such a good game. It is such a solid game. I'm really sad I lost my account, but that was such a solid game. And yeah, it took forever to grind in that game, and it definitely like you could progress a lot if you paid a lot of money. But that made sense. Like you were paying a lot of money. Um, but it was one of the most solid games out there. And I had decent characters too. Like I was getting close to a point where I could do some good stuff. Like I could start doing some good content in that game. Um, and of course, I lost my account, but that's just because I'm now on Android. So there's that game, and it's still around. It's still getting updates. It's still getting heroes. And here, let me just go check. So we go to the Play Store real quick just to show you guys. So we search for not yeah Dislyte. So we go Dislyte first. I think it's gone down zero point 0.2 stars. So it was 3.4.3, but now it went down. Myth Gods of Asgard. Ooh, that looks like a cool game. July 28th official release. So yeah, there's a ton of games that come out all the time. Oh, okay, yeah, this looks a little bit more, a little bit more RPG. Okay. Um. So yeah, I think it was 4.5 now, but now it's gone down, and that makes sense. And then what was the other game? I was like, oh yeah, Idle Heroes. This game is 4.6, and I think it released like what 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Like this game has been around forever, and it is because one thing, Dislyte, the developers will actually listen to their creators and the community. It's that fucking simple. That simple. This is all you need to do. Dislike games, Farlight Games, even Plarium, the creators of Mech Arena. You guys just have to listen to your community. Just because you're making a shit ton of money doesn't mean you'll continue making that money because that's just how it works. If you screw over a ton of people, they're not going to want to continue supporting you because they don't trust you. That's just how it works. I don't understand what companies don't get. And it really is just the devious greed, scummy side of every company. And it really comes down to the not just the developers, but specifically the team who is in control of the finances. Because whoever's in control of the money will ultimately have the final decision, the final say. And it's not so much the developers well, I guess it is because it was created by that one guy. So maybe it is all his fault that he's not listening the way that he should. He's more kind of absorbing ideas he thinks are cool rather than listening to things that we actually need. So really, he just needs to get his shit together. Because like, come on, um, is the game dead yet? I don't think it's completely dead, but definitely late game. It's becoming less fun. Like, there's really nothing to do, and the pull rates are just atrocious. Like, there's so many games with better pull rates. Idle Hero, like I could name them off of my head. Um, so yeah, it's just disgusting. It's just so trashy. It doesn't help. And then there's like some games where they give you a free legendary every 10 spins, like a guaranteed legendary. What the fuck, this light? I mean, it made sense more in the past because you had less espers and the legendary ones like made your accounts a lot better, especially the support units because you could use them at R0. Some fighters were fine, but the problem is that now it's all R2, so now you need to draw a shit ton of stuff, except all the rates are horrible, so good luck getting at least a single legendary within 50 draws. I've only gotten legendaries within 100 at least. Like, I've never gotten anything really less than that. Maybe sometimes I've gotten around 50, like once or twice, but that's been in like the tens of thousands of draws that I've done over the course of just playing the game because you do get a lot of golden records just free to play, but it's still not enough to keep you in the game because it doesn't progress your account in any way, shape, or form when you literally just get the same fucking 30, 50 rares in the game or the same epic espers that you already have max resonance and you literally can't do shit with it other than try and upgrade epic espers and legend or rare espers that you already have upgraded. So then all you do have to do is grind like crazy for those materials so that you can eventually get legendary experiment Starmion, sorry, legendary Starmion, so that you can finally ascend your heroes to 6 star and or advance them to 6 star and then finally get them up to level 60. So yeah, it's not fun. Dislyte is slowly becoming less and less fun. Um, yeah, like that's all I gotta say. All these reso pools, they really did nothing other than advertise, oh, spend more money and you can get exactly what you want. Because 100 wish stones is so bad. It's such a bad rate. Like, the one thing they got to do is really fix the rates. If they fix the rates, this game would be a lot better because at least the progression would now be characters getting resonances, which is really what is a major problem because the characters need resonances, at least R2 meta. That's mostly what the game is. So, and you've been releasing espers with R2 as well, Dislyte. So don't even like think like that you guys didn't cause this. It's 100% your fault. You literally have been releasing espers where resonances, their higher resonances are the only way that they actually matter, which kind of makes sense some wise, but at because you need some progression in the game. Otherwise, there's no progression. It's not fun. But the way they went about it made it so that now like Jiao2, you probably don't need her at R2. She's insanely good at R0. So I'd say they did a little bit better there. Hilda's definitely R6, so they again released another R6 Esper that is still going to be good at R0, but it's not going to help like a lot of people. Like it's really just going to be a waste of wish stones for a lot of people. Um Unless they don't have the poison espers because there were some YouTubers have been doing some testing on the PR server. I want to do it when she's actually out because they might change balances, whatever they do in between. Um, but yeah, I want to get Hilda myself and just see how she works because I don't have poison espers with a lot of damage, and it seemed like Hilda was definitely the option for that event. So that's another thing I want to talk about. Releasing espers specifically made for an event. And then, well, I guess Hilda will be fine because for Andres, it's gonna be around forever as long as I'm assuming because it's a ritual miracle. So that those have been permanent for us. But the Celestial Anomaly, they released Mateo, Javid, and Valeria. And basically they shat in everybody's face after they got them to whatever residence, spent however much money, and said, okay, yeah, now we're taking the celestial anomaly away. So basically, they're irrelevant. You wasted all your money. You wasted wish stones because, or maybe you didn't because you were able to get a resonance with clearing floors in the celestial anomaly, but or you got Yamato or something. But really, for the amount of work you had to put into it and the amount of time, like there's Celestial Anomaly took so freaking long that it was kind of boring. Like it was just a pain to clear those floors, especially past like floor 80. They have so much health and it takes so freaking long just to kill them that it made me just not want to play the game because I was like, well, this is the only thing I can do because I've already done everything daily and I'm just doing Celestial Anomaly because I want to clear floors, get more stuff, and it's like content I'm playing. And I get more copies of Yamato, and then you also get I was getting a decent amount of legendary Abilamons, which is one thing that the Celestial Anomaly did insanely great. It lets you get legendary Abilamons pretty, or at least pieces, which you could fuse. So I think I got like four from the Celestial Anomaly, which is ridiculous. But it's also like the thing we needed for the game to actually feel like it was moving somewhere. So now that they took it away, the game is basically dead, is what I'm saying. Like that's why I keep asking, is this the end of Dislyte? Which I don't think it is, but the game is on its dying note. Like even with the new content that they're gonna release, it'll add like what, maybe an extra 10 minutes of gameplay for most people, and that's it. That's all it's doing. We need They need to bring back Celestial Anomaly in some way, shape, or form. Um, it was fine, but I feel like the Esper requirements kind of screwed people over a little bit. It felt a little bit pay to win. However, I will say they already have that in Desolate Lands, so maybe it becomes a thing where, and you don't really unlock Desolate Lands until later anyway. So I don't know because I mean, like level 50, you could probably unlock Desolate Lands. So maybe it is a big thing, but yeah, they really need to fix that. It was really the only thing that was keeping me playing the game. And then this new event came out, and I was like, oh, that's all I can do because that's what I was doing. Otherwise, I was just clearing floors in the events just to try and push and get the boxes so that I could get uh, the ripples for my legendary espers. So for Embla, I got 15. For Ashley, I got enough so that now I'm almost able to get her to R1, just cause. Ashley, you don't really need to rezo her up, but having her at R2 is nice, and R6 will, it won't do much, but I guess it's a little bit more AP manipulation. Um, but yeah, like I just don't understand, guys. The game was like okay when Celestial Anomaly came out. It wasn't bad. It was kind of free to play. I mean, kind of pay to win because you needed Mateo. You didn't need Javid specifically, but you definitely needed Mateo. And you didn't specifically need Valeria, but if you weren't like level 100, you did. Because I definitely was not able to push as far in that game mode. Specifically for the serpent. The serpent boss was just a little kind of stupid. Like it wasn't fun in any regard. At least the two other bosses were fun, the Soaring Goat and the Raging Lion, but the Sunken Viper was just not it. Like it just didn't feel. It was just like you hit me, I hit you back, and then they released Leanne, and it's basically the same thing. Like okay, well now you take damage, yeah. So it's just very interesting. It seems like a mechanic that they've been trying to play with, and they haven't gotten it right yet. That's all I'm saying. Um, So yeah, and then alternate versions, like this whole thing about alternate versions. Honestly, I'm not opposed to the idea, but I do believe they should only do it for non-legendary espers because if they start doing it for legendary espers, it's gonna create a paradigm. I think that's how you say it, a paradigm. I can't speak English, as you guys know. And also, like, I only think they should release alternate espers as like a specific event, but it has to be related to a story because um I don't want it just to be like, oh, okay, this Esper just has an alternate version because that's what it is. I want it to be like, um, I don't know, some ancient foe from Greek mythology or some ancient monster. Well, I guess it would be a Miramon, but whatever. Um, from ancient mythology, either from Roman. I guess it could be from Roman mythology to turn the Greek gods into Roman gods. So you would have Jupiter, um, Neptune, and Pluto instead of Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, and so on and so forth. I think Venus is Aphrodite, Mars is Aries. Um, yeah, yeah. So like there are some gods that do have alternate forms. So I think it would still be really cool if it tied into their lore a little bit. But I don't just want like random ass, like I don't know what they were doing with Leanne. Maybe there's a different story of the goddess Jiao that. Oh, here actually let's look Jiao because I wanted to see this. So Jiao I think that's what it is. Jiao. So it was a nine was one of the nine sons of the dragon. Okay, dragons of fame entryways. Interesting. That makes no sense on why Jiao Two is in this light is literally an esper from the water. What? I'm so confused. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. There we go. I guess you can look here if you want. Nope, that's not what I wanted. This is just stupid Dislyte stuff. Um. So yeah. I don't know. They're they're kind of not going lore accurate, which I don't like because that was one of the things I was really enjoying about the game is that they were having some lore accurate stuff. Um, but yeah, I don't know. And we already know that the Lian is already in the game, the alternate version. Though it's not really an alternate version of her; it's the boss version in the Hilda event, the Hypnos event. So yeah, I just this light Lilith games. Come on, please don't end up as another Plaria Mech Arena. Basically, what happened with them is that Mech Arena basically died, so now they were just pushing for Raid Shadow Legends, which was a solid game. So that's a solid game plan strategy. Mech Arena dies, so they go back, which is scummy because that left all the Mech Arena free to play players in the dust, and same with everyone else playing. So now we're just waiting for the Gear Hub, and they're not giving us any information, and we're saying we're gonna quit if they don't, and they still don't. So I just won't play. I haven't played Mech Arena in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Like I just haven't touched the game because I every time I look at it, I'm like, I just know I'm gonna play the game, gonna face some stupid maxed out bots or some maxed out players and just not have fun. Like there's no point in playing if you're not gonna have fun. Um, yeah, I really hope this light doesn't end up like that because that's basically where Mech Arena is at now. It's a dead game. Um, People still play it, but like that's only content creators really and people who spend a shit ton of money, so they're gonna win even if they're against max bots. But yeah, everyone else like they even try and hide it. They do like this thing where it says they've only been gone for a week, but it's been saying that for the past month. So it's really funny where they try and hide it, and you're just like just stop. Like at that point, like just Plarium, no. Um, so yeah, I just decided to stop doing videos on that. I actually might make another one just to see where it's at. I don't have any hope for it whatsoever because the creators don't give a fuck about what we say. Literally, neither does Dislyte apparently. Um, Unless it's like someone like Daddy Free to Play, because then they literally threaten his job. Like, come on, companies like that, they just deserve to like die. Really, like they do, because they're destroying the community. They're forcing people. They're doing all this horrible shit, and we're basically like, oh, that's really bad, but we don't do anything about it. And people think that they don't have a lot of power, which is not true. the one thing you can do is always slander them, which I know sounds bad, but it's really the only way to get their attention at this point. And don't play their games. You can make content, but if you try and like sugarcoat everything that they're doing, then you're basically just helping them. So you would do the opposite. You would try and explain what the problems are, give them suggestions at least. And if they don't take the advice, then just say, well, that's they fucked up. Like that's their fault. Do apologize for swearing, but it's just to get a point across. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, I really don't know. I really hope it doesn't die because I've been enjoying making content for Dislyte so far. The updates have gotten a little bit worse. I do agree. They've gone kind of downhill in sort of just quality and content. Not so much like the espers themselves and the events themselves, but more the content that we get and we have for late game and just in the game in general, and the quality of it. It's just not there. So yeah, and then they have the audacity. Lilith Games has the audacity to say, "Oh yeah, we're definitely not spending more time working on this other game that we've had in development that we're trying to release." Totally not. Like it just that's bullshit. Like come on. We know that you guys are working on it and it's taking away from this light. Like just cut the crap. It really it's funny that they think that we're going to believe all the bullshit that's coming out of their mouth. At this point, everything they say out of their mouth is I'm taking with a grain of salt cuz I just don't trust them. After what they did to Daddy Free to Play, like that was disgusting. I think Lilith Games should apologize to the entire community. I really do. I think they should apologize for lying because they obviously have been working more on that game than this game. Like you can obviously tell, the classes are all flushed out. They have 6 classes in this game. We barely even have defenders. It's mostly fighters and support. We have some controllers, a decent amount, so I'm not really mad about that. But we barely have any defenders, and the ones that we do are okay. I think we have one legendary. Is Thor the only legendary defender in this game? Wait, no, no, no. That can't be right. Wait, no, no, that can't be right. Come on. Um. Oh my god, I think it's right. That's such bullshit. Oh my god. So yeah, like you can just tell that that game they have definitely put a lot more effort into it, and it's just not fun because you look at this game and you're like, well, they could have done this so much better if they at least tried and spent a little bit more time working on this game. Um, so yeah, literally these are all the defenders in this game, and there's technically 2 other classes in that other game. There's rogues and archers or whatever. Um, so I think it would have been cool if we had more than 4 classes in this game, at least a little bit more defenders. Um, if we had more variety rather than just mostly fighters and support. Um, like yeah, there's a lot of things in this game that they could have done a little bit better. And you look at AFK Journey, just a quick glance. Don't spend any money. Don't even try and like grind through it because you're really just supporting them and you're giving them the message that they can do whatever the fuck they want and it doesn't matter because they'll at the end of the day they're still gonna get money. So in order to stop that cycle, you make sure that they don't get their money. That's really the only thing. And so what if the company shuts down eventually? Like that's their own fault. I know that sounds horrible, but like they did it to themselves. Really, any company that is decent and is trying to make a long game should know, and they should also know when to step back when they do something bad. They should just know in general. It's not that hard. If content creators themselves can come up with ideas to fix the game pretty easily, then Dislyte can do it themselves. What I think is the problem is the board and the people who are running the money, because they interfere with money. Like they just want to make more money. That's what it comes down to. So whatever they're doing, they're killing the gaming industry. At least for mobile games like this, where it's 5v5 RPG turn-based games. Um, yeah, they're killing the gaming industry, and it's really sad. It's disappointing and sad. And at this point it's become tiring because now you have to switch to a different game and then try and progress there. And honestly, I'm not up for that. I'm not trying to keep switching games every few years just because a company decided they were going to be greedy and then it didn't go out as planned, so they decided to make a whole brand new game to try and make more money. Like, no. I'm not trying to fall into that's just such a scam. It's basically just a scheme. It's to get people to play games, make them somewhat of a company that will at least release stuff that is worth your money, and then they'll keep doing that and then ending the game. And then it feels like Dislyte is trying to Lilith Games is trying to get onto this track. Which yes, they would probably make a shit ton of money, but that's it. They would only do it for like 1 or 2 years, and then people would realize that Dislyte is a horrible company. And sorry, not Dislyte, Lilith Games is a horrible company, and they should stop spending money on any of the games they make. So that's what's going to happen, Lilith Games, ultimately, if things go down that road. And that's what's happening with Plarium a little bit. I have started to see that Raid Shadow Legends has gone down a little bit just because of all the shit that they pulled with Mech Arena. And it's really just the trust. If you break if developers, if you break your trust, if you break the trust that the content creators are trying to show that to the your audience, all the players, that they have in you. So the content creators are basically our or just the community's way. I guess I'm a content creator too. So it's the community's way of basically looking at what this light is doing and having a short snippet of information so they don't have to go through it themselves and judge for themselves. And as content creators, we want to be as honest as possible. So when you make content creators lose trust in you, therefore that makes the entire community not want to trust you because they trust the content creators since they've been honest. They've built a reputation, whereas you've really just been this company in the background that has built somewhat of a reputation, but then you go and ruin it. So it really just comes down to you guys actually trying, not lying to us, because they lied about the Shade Mother thing. Like literally the photos look exactly the same. It's stupid that they're like, oh no, we didn't move assets or anything, and then they made Daddy Free to Play apologize, and I'm like, well, that's retarded because those pictures look literally exactly the fucking same. You know, the roadmap where they showed us Shade Mother, and then the boss in AFK Journey that looks literally exactly the same. So it just like makes me think like, oh, okay, so you're just gonna blatantly lie about it and then force somebody to say that they lied about you lying. So at that point, like it's just it leaves a bad taste in my mouth for the future. Um, Next content is gonna be very much appreciated. I do like that, but hopefully this like gets the message. It's been two of the biggest content creators so far of the game speaking their minds and telling the truth, and I agree with everything they've been saying. And I'm doing the same thing because we need to spread the message. This is the best way to do it. Every content creator does a video. Lilith Games gets the message. Farlight Games gets the message. Content creators are not going to stand for it. It's bullshit. It makes things not fun. It ruins the game and it destroys gaming communities. It's not fun. So that's my whole spiel. I'm gonna stop now because I'm gonna keep going if I continue talking. But yeah, sadly, that's what happened. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. As always, AOG Gaming here. If you're enjoying the content, please like and subscribe. Really shows your support, helps me out, keeps you up to date with my content. 102 subscribers last time I checked. You guys are so amazing. Keep going. Um, yeah, I'll have actual gameplay videos, but I want to release this first because this needs to be said, needs to be brought out. Just like what I did with Mech Arena, we need justice as a gaming community for everybody. Free to play, people who pay a little bit of money. Yes, even for the whales, because, you know, some of them just spend money because they like the game. And I totally agree with that. If you like the game and you're willing to spend money on it and you think it's worth your money, by all means, go ahead. It's your money. I totally agree with them. And some of them are also on the same page. They don't like where the game is going because spending they can spend they're spending they have to spend more and more money every single time. That's what's happening. Because then they have to R6 a new Esper every time they release another one, because that's the best residence to have them at. They can't just leisurely go. So just something to put out there for you guys. Do watch Success Kun latest two videos, I believe, and Free to Play Daddy's last two videos as well, because they'll give you all the information that you need to also, get what. Well, I mean, you can still get what I'm saying by just my information that I'm giving you, but it's also just to give you a deeper understanding of what's going on, especially with what went on with Daddy Free to Play. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching as always, and I will see you guys later.